One of my favorite breakfast dishes is French toast, and today I wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite recipes for it. I'll be making my easy baked croissant French toast casserole with berries and maple syrup. And this is one of those fantastic recipes that you could prep the night before and then place it into the oven in the morning so you have some hot and fresh breakfast. We're going to start things off with a simple egg custard. We'll add some maple syrup, some cinnamon, and then we'll soak the croissants in the custard, layer them into a casserole dish with some fresh berries, and bake everything in the oven. I love to enjoy this French toast piping hot out of the oven with even more maple syrup on top. You guys are going to love this easy and delicious recipe. For the full list of ingredients and the instructions, make sure to head on down into that video description box and follow that link over to my blog. I'm going to have everything on my website, including this recipe with metric measurements. Meanwhile, let's get started on this delicious breakfast dish. First things first, I am preheating my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and for today's recipe, I'm going to be using a large casserole dish. You can use a square one, an oval one, whichever one you have on hand. I'm going to spray the inside with a non-stick baking spray, and that way, as the casserole bakes, all that sugar doesn't get stuck to the bottom of the pan. All done. We're going to set this aside for now and we can get started on the recipe. We're going to start things off with 6 large eggs, and usually I recommend using room temperature eggs, but for this recipe it will not make a big difference. We'll drop them into a large mixing bowl. Into my mixing bowl I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, and this is going to add lots of that maple syrup flavor, a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to whisk this all together for a few minutes until the eggs are well beaten. Whisk, whisk, whisk until those eggs are very well beaten, and this way you'll have a very smooth custard for dipping the croissants into. All right, that looks good. Next up, I am going to add in 1 cup of whole milk and 1 cup of cream. Pour that in. Now you can use a regular milk instead of the cream, so use 2 cups of whole milk. However, that cream just makes this French toast casserole even tastier and richer in flavor. Give this all a mix. And that's it. Our custard is ready to go. It's so easy to make. And now for our croissants. These smell so good. I love that incredible buttery aroma. And day-old or stale croissants will work best for this recipe. They're going to have a slightly drier texture, so they'll be easier to slice, and they'll also soak up more of that custard. Of course, fresh croissants will also work great too. I'm going to grab a serrated knife and we're going to split each croissant in half. You want to be extra careful. You should probably be using a cutting board for this. Just like that. So we'll have 2 halves for each croissant. And this way the custard can kind of soak into all the little air pockets on the inside. And we'll need about 8 to 10 of these medium-sized croissants for the recipe. And now we can assemble the French toast casserole. I'm going to be layering the croissants with some fresh berries. I have some raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. I like to use fresh berries, but you can also use frozen ones. Just thaw them out beforehand. And I have my prepped casserole dish all ready to go. I'm one of those people that likes to wear gloves in the kitchen. Just keeps my hands nice and clean. We're going to grab our croissants and we're going to dip them into the custard and make sure that they are well soaked. You want them to absorb as much of this custard as you can get them to absorb, and then we'll layer them into the dish. And as I'm putting this casserole together, I'm going to occasionally sprinkle in a few berries, kind of like in between the bread pieces or on top. And I'll grab whatever custard I have left over and pour that over the top of the croissants. You want them to be very well soaked. My croissant French toast casserole is all ready, and at this point you can either bake it right away or you can place it into the refrigerator to chill overnight. I will be baking it right away today. First, I'm going to cover it with some foil. I'm going to bake these at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 to 40 minutes until that custard is completely set and the croissants are a nice golden brown color, and they are going to get some color even though they are covered with the foil. If you are baking these the next morning, simply cover, set the casserole into the refrigerator, and then in the morning they're going to take an extra 10 to 15 minutes longer to bake since the custard is going to be a little chilly when it comes out of the refrigerator. All right, our French toast is all done, and once I take it out of the oven, I like to add a few dabs of some butter on the top, maybe some more fresh berries, and this is ready to be enjoyed. We'll grab a large spoon, we'll scoop up an entire croissant, berries and all. You want to have lots of berries with every bite. And I love the texture of these croissants once they're baked. They're kind of like a custard, like a set custard, and then you have the fruit. This is going to be so delicious. And that's it for my baked French toast casserole. This turned out amazing. It smells so good when it's in the oven too. This can be perfect if you prep it the night before, pop it into the oven in the morning, and you're all set with a hot and fresh breakfast. For the full list of ingredients and the written instructions, make sure to head on down into that video description box and head over to my website. I'm going to have everything online there, including this recipe with metric measurements. Time to dig in and enjoy. Oh, this looks so good. I love having extra maple syrup on top here too. Then you can add a little bit of whipped cream or some butter, add a little extra fruit in there as well. This looks amazing. And I love croissants. This French toast is ridiculously delicious. I love the texture of that buttery croissant. It's soaked up all of that egg custard mixture. You get a little bit of that cinnamon coming through, and then having that maple syrup in there and the berries is just amazing. If you're looking for an easy and delicious sweet breakfast idea, this is it. I love this recipe because it's one of those hands-off kind of dishes where you put it together and you pop it in the oven and you don't have to stand there at the stovetop flipping each piece of toast. The flavors here are phenomenal. You guys are gonna be blown away. Having just a little bit of that cinnamon, that maple syrup, the berries, just heavenly. Don't forget to head on down into that video description box for the recipe link. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a big thumbs up and a comment down below. It really helps my videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.